Hey y'all, welcome back. Today I'm so excited to share my 5 tips for fabulous royal icing flowers with you. Now, if we haven't met before, I'm Sarah Grace. I teach people how to make stunning sugar cookies. And if you're interested, I teach you how to create a business with your sugar cookie skills. So, I want to share with you my top tips for creating royal icing florals and flower-shaped cookies because I know we're heading into the spring season. That means weddings, baby showers, bridal showers. This can be a busy season for a lot of cookie decorators, and a lot of our clients will be requesting floral cookies. Now, florals are something that I shied away from for a long time in my royal icing cookie decorating career. I was really scared of florals for a while because every time I would try, it just didn't look like it did in the videos. You know, like I would pop it and then it would fall down and it would look cute for a second, but then it would just kind of melt away. And it took a while for me to kind of pick up on some of the things that were helping me get the royal icing flowers that I wanted versus some of the things that were kind of keeping me from that. So one of the things that was most important was finding a royal icing recipe that worked for me. I do have a video on my royal icing recipe. It is not one that I created, y'all. Casey's Cakery is where I found this recipe, and I've been using it ever since. I've just been sharing it on my platform, and I do have a free online class where I share how to create this recipe, how to mix your icing to the right consistency for flooding cookies or for making flowers, whatever cookie decorating skill you're working on or working with at the time. You can check that out in the description below. I'll link that there. But the royal icing recipe is really key. And using that stiff consistency icing and that fluffy icing recipe is what made all the difference for me when I was learning to create flowers. The recipe that I use from Casey's Cakery, it really does just create a beautiful, fluffy, gorgeous, like realistic petal when you're making flowers. And a lot of people are worried that they'll be hard to bite into or that they will taste like a rock. I get questions a lot. Do these taste like biting into a rock? No, they do not. They taste really good. I recently made some for a baby shower that were like a cabbage type shape. I'll have those posted soon in the spring. But I got a lot of compliments on how the icing, it dries hard and it is a hard icing, but it's not difficult to bite into. As long as you're serving the cookies fresh, it's not difficult to bite into, and it tastes kind of marshmallowy. I compare it to like a softer version of a sweet tart or something like that. If you've ever had those little sweet tart candies, it's sort of similar to that when it dries and you bite into it. So that's my first tip, using good, thick consistency royal icing, having your recipe down pat. Again, the free online consistency confidence class is on the homepage of my website. It'll walk you through that whole process. The tips that I'm sharing with you today were originally in a blog post on my website. I'll link that down below. That way you can grab all the links that I'm talking about today. And you can also read that if you prefer to learn in like a reading kind of format. My second tip for you when it comes to making beautiful royal icing flowers for cookies is to make sure that your icing is super fresh. And by super fresh, I mean it's not more than a day old. If you want to make really stunning, high quality flowers, then this is not a time when you want to make icing ahead. I'm not against making icing ahead. I think it is great and very wise to make it ahead in certain situations, but making flowers where you really want them to stand out is not one of those situations. I use icing that has been made for a day or two when it comes to flooding, adding certain details, just pretty much anything besides flowers, honestly. And writing sometimes. I'll try and use fresh icing when I'm writing. But I don't let it sit more than a day when I'm making flowers. If it's been sitting more than a day, I will either make a new batch or I'll refresh the batch that I have by mixing it in the mixer once again and adding a bit more powdered sugar just to make sure that it does have that thickness. But again, I prefer same day from the mixer. And even if it's been sitting for more than a few hours, I'll even give it a mix because it will form air bubbles. And what royal icing does is it separates into solid and liquid over time. This is why you'll see people including instructions with DIY kits that say to kind of mix the bags that are included in those kits up with your hands, because it does separate into this like syrupy consistency water and the very fluffy marshmallowy type fluff that is made from the egg whites. I don't know all the science behind that. All I know is that that's what we don't want when making flowers. We don't want it to look airy or have those pockets. We don't want it to separate. We want it to be nice and solid and fresh. My third tip is to try a curved petal tip. Now, a petal tip will get the job done. It'll make a beautiful flower. I'm not against a regular flower petal tip at all. But if you can find a curved petal tip and work with the curve pointing up, it really adds that lacy kind of realistic edge to the petal that just makes your cookies really stand out in the marketplace. I feel like, you know, if you have one thing that you do really well, people are going to be so excited to come to you for that thing. I found that I was often asked to do bridal showers, baby showers, specifically bridal events, because I was kind of known for the floral cookie or the painted cookie. And that was something that was really popular in the bridal stuff. And so I loved doing that kind of cookie, and that was just fine with me. Now, tip number 3 may sound a little bit odd, and that's because it is. I had a professor in college, Dr. Webb. She was one of my favorite professors, and she used to have a landscaping business. She said that she always tried to group things in odd groups or groups of 3 because that's more pleasing to the eye and it looks more natural. So that's what I always try to do when I'm working with flowers or natural shapes. I try to work in either groups of 1, 3, 5, however many you want to do according to the size and scale of your cookie. But grouping them in odd numbers really does just make it look more realistic, more natural, and it just gives that pleasing design. Your design skills will come as you spend more time working on cookies and creating your own designs. If you need some help with the techniques to make those designs come to life, you can always check out the Cookie Classroom. That's my course where I teach you how to decorate cookies from start to finish. It takes out the guesswork of trying to search through thousands of online videos and hunt for stuff on Amazon, and just gives you a straight path forward through learning to decorate cookies like a pro. Now, you may have seen my video here a while back, and if you're in the Cookie Confidence group, I know that you've seen it because I've been sharing it this month while we've been talking about royal icing flowers in our group. But I recently made, well, I say recently, y'all, that was like a year ago, but I made some variegated or multi-toned red flowers that just really were so summery and bright to me. I think that just takes it up a notch to do 2 different tones in anything that you're doing if you can mix a little bit. I'll link to that video in the description below, but what I did was I just took a couple of different colors of icing, put them into one piping bag fitted with a petal tip, and then piped my flowers as I normally would, and it created this kind of streaky, different look that you see on flowers in nature, which I thought was really cool. The greenery that I like to use as well, I think it's cool to use 2 different tones of green when creating your greenery, because it does make it look more like that bouquet, or like you have stems and leaves and just like more of a flower in nature. And that's the look that I really enjoy seeing. I hope this video has helped to answer some of your questions about decorating flower cookies. If you have more questions about flower cookies specifically, then drop them in the comments below. I would love to hear what your questions are. They always inspire me to make more videos like this. If you enjoy this video, I would please ask you to consider liking and subscribing. That way you can be notified each time I post a new video about cookie decorating and cookie decorating businesses and home bakeries. If you want to learn more about cookie decorating and baking, you can visit sarahgracecookieco.com, and you can also come and join us in the Cookie Confidence Facebook group. All of this is going to be linked down below, but the Cookie Confidence group is where we all kind of hang out on the internet and talk about cookie decorating. We share our work, we share our questions, and I often go live there and kind of give some tips and information as I can. Thank you again for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye, sweet friends.